many years, African agriculture is driven by small-scale farmers who constitute 60 to 70% of the population. The majority of them operate on a subsistence basis. So they take farming as a way of life rather than as a business that should put a lot of revenue or money in their pockets. And as AFMA, we drive the process of creating a platform that can empower the various the farmers especially, but enable them to interact with all stakeholders that matter, so that there is a paradigm shift.
At this conference, we are partnering with the African Farm Management Association, which is working on outreach and the dissemination of good practices from farms in terms of excellence to farmers, and also gives opportunities to agro-processors like the industries. For example, we have mango processors here, we have farmers from poultry background, we have farmers from dairy. We also have the scientists who have done some research on agriculture and sustainable agriculture, and our students who have supported and have undertaken research with the farmers and the farming communities. And so we are sharing this knowledge so that we are able to improve the agricultural productivity on farms.
CESAAM is one of 22 Africa Centers of Excellence which are funded by World Bank, whose main aim is to improve the quality of postgraduate training in the region. CESAAM has a number of objectives, among which is to improve quality of training of the graduate students, and also to work with the stakeholders to improve the delivery of delivery to the institutions. So CESAAM has been around for about 4 years now, and we've been working with different stakeholders to achieve this end. CESAAM is also partnering with a number of institutions to facilitate the improvement of the quality training for our students.
Food security is a major challenge that the Center of Excellence and AFMA are actually addressing, and therefore it gives us an opportunity to have a joint activity, because we have common objectives to address in agricultural development and also issues with climate smart agriculture.
We're going to be working with AFMA to also extend the ideas of AFMA, which are also part of what CESAAM is also doing as part of our objectives to outreach into farmer and the farming community.
In farm management, we have a number of stakeholders. In farm management, we talk about value chain. And we talk about value chain, we talk right from the soils all the way to the markets. All stakeholders from production all the way to consumption. We bring them on board, we give them a platform, we capacity build.
I'm very happy today because this finding I'm going to share with other people who are in the conference and inform them of the importance of probiotics, and actually to locally isolate the probiotics from spontaneously fermented foods from the local communities in Kenya, and how we can actually put them in the cassava value chains and actually internationalize the cassava leaves that have been fermented by the probiotics, which have been isolated from the local foods, into abroad markets.
So in response to climate variability challenges and climate change, we as engineers, we try to deal with the problem, to sort out the problem. And the problem is now the impact. So how do we respond?
Basically, I contribute predicting what might happen in future in relation to water resources management, in relation to our land use system management, in relation to agricultural practices that we have, and how all these influence our water resources.
For local hydroclimatic modeling, and of course, precipitation, surface air temperature, river discharge progressively will increase significantly. That is according to our forecasting. And therefore, you can create the study that provides an evidence for local water resource authority to adapt the GIS, remote sensing technology, artificial intelligence, computer-based approaches to respond to climate variability challenges.
I'm so happy, and it's a prerogative to interact with other researchers. And I've learned a lot in terms of the supply chain, in terms of other sectors in agriculture, and as an engineer. My main takeaway is all about the sustainability and also to work on integrated system management in terms of response to climate change, whether it is in water resources or whether it is in agriculture in general.
Are smallholder farmers credit-worthy? So this research or this work is actually trying to address that. We have farmers here, we have industry practitioners here, and farm management issues, always we doubt whether we should give them credit or that they can repay. And so that is actually the genesis of this work.
So this is a very important opportunity, and here we are at Panari Hotel in Nairobi, but we have brought many partners here, including the Ministry of Agriculture, the county executive offices of agriculture, and all other partners that are relevant to improving productivity in farms. And so CESAAM, as a partner and also working on a sustainable agriculture, is using this opportunity as a means of disseminating the best practices from the research and innovations that they have worked on in the last 4 years of the Center of Excellence support. The Center of Excellence is currently in the 4th year of its implementation, and we have students that have come out of this, masters and PhDs, who have done a lot of good research from farms and also from agro-industries, and they are sharing this information.
That constitutes a large group of farming population in Africa. Women are the human link between the farm and the table.
When it comes to commercialization, we need to use the current technologies, and I know that there is a move on the issues of adoption of improved technology so as to be able to enhance commercialization.
So which other ways are you likely to recommend for extension service delivery? Because we are moving away from face-to-face or person-to-person extension, but there are so many other innovative ways which are coming up. So where you can respond, but in the same line, I may also wish to suggest that let us focus on digital extension approaches, using video-mediated extension approaches, using teleconferencing and many other approaches.
Then the demand growing in urban areas. Yes, many people in the cities have realized the importance of these vegetables, and with good success, we'll not only be storing the vegetables in a warehouse, but also transporting it straight to the city, using temperature-controlled vehicles. So you'll be enjoying your fresh plate of managu straight from the farm. And as you can see, the vegetable industry itself earns very good money.
I've spent many years, the last 50 years really, encouraging those vegetables, and they're an integral part of systems. I'm very keen on their potential in peri-urban agriculture and in sustaining livelihoods in our burgeoning cities. As far as traditional methods of solar drying are concerned, that is hugely important, and we promote it in our extension workshops with farmers all over Africa. And the marketing of those products is strategically important to sustaining those economies. I was very delighted that Professor Rewe drew attention to indigenous technical knowledge. And as our last questioner has just indicated, a lot of this is with the ladies.
Are you trying to say that the more we use our land, the more we are not going to have our rivers? So it means we are going to die in 2035?
Driving agricultural development in Africa, driving it forward must be done in a way that is consistent with sustainability.
Columns where irrigated maize, non-irrigated maize was 6.7 bags, but irrigated maize had 11 bags. We did simulation for the prices, and then the key thing was to compare the margin per bag and also margin as a percentage of the cost. So for irrigated, it was higher than non-irrigated.
Now, in the total variable cost, what factors did you consider? What and what did you use so that you get your total variable cost and get the difference so that you can get your margin, your gross margin?
Productivity is not the same thing as yield, and this distinction is important. Both yield and productivity, or TFP, are ratios of outputs to inputs. However, yield is a single factor metric. That is, it's the number of kilos of a product produced per hectare, for example.
Last week I was in Baringo, and there was a group of farmers. They formed a group, and then they approached KCB, who granted them a loan to carry out their work. So my question is, okay, let me not be on the negative side, but just in case, let's assume that maybe one of the farmers doesn't get enough from the produce and therefore doesn't have enough to return the money. What happens after that?
Farmers should be encouraged to adopt improved fish feeds for increased fish income using documented success stories. Training should be organized to expose farmers to new fish farming technologies and practices. And finally, there should be a reduction on cost of borrowing, credit, and if possible, waive collaterals.
Beans are staple food in Homa Bay County and are grown by vast majority of farmers across the county. Beans contribute quite highly to human nutrition, and in Kenya, the per capita consumption is estimated to be around 14 kg per year.
It will be a concerted effort from the government, research institutions, and all other stakeholders that are working with farmers, so that they enlighten the farmers on how we can ensure that we focus on sustainability, so that even as we dedicate more resources on sorghum, we ensure that we do so in a sustainable manner.
Because of our rain-fed agriculture, so it means those seasons we have a lot of vegetables, which means we can value add like by dehydration, then we can consume during the dry season. But in most cases, we find that people don't consume these processed vegetables, only a small fraction.
So this study provides insights into diversification of crops, livestock farming systems, agroforestry, and factors contributing to agroecological transition for enhanced food security and nutrition in Tharaka-Nithi County of Eastern Kenya.
So CESAAM, as a partner of AFMA, is supporting various aspects of the project, including presenting papers and works from our students, but we're also supporting our students in terms of registration of the students.
The Farm Management Association is something that is addressing the African challenges. So we are using Africans to solve African problems. And that's why we are bringing farmers who are in Africa who have been successful to be a model farms or model examples or model farm excellence for other farmers to be able to use this as an example and improve on their productivity.